Yeah, now stand and cheer for your Talking Basketball podcast. Welcome back to this episode. This is the second part of a doubleheader. If you haven't heard the first, go back and listen to it. If you can't be bothered, that's all right. Just keep listening to this one, and hopefully you enjoy it. And don't forget, like and subscribe. I hate it when people say that. Well, look, Mark, you are an embarrassment once again, because
I am.
We've been talking for about 28 minutes, and that we had an error with the.
I'm the embarrassment, and you're finding it difficult to say words.
The memory card, that's what I'm trying to say.
And do you know why the memory cards are full? Because we've got so many episodes.
We just said, 26 hours worth of
26 hours
talking.
of us talking absolute tripe about basketball.
But it's a shame, but hopefully we can recapture it.
That's our fourth memory card, by the way.
We were talking about bloody hell.
Yeah.
We were talking about Jeremy and his journey getting to the NBA, and we got to the point where, from a Kestrels perspective, you've let him go for the benefit of his game and his ability, so he's now gone to high school.
The dove was released.
Yeah, I was going to say, make it sound like we took the muzzle off, or like, oh, you may go now. No, yeah, we tried to guide it as best as possible with as much advice to try and get him to a situation, or help him to pick a situation that would be good for him, to get him outside of his comfort zone, and just to be around guys that were really high level every day. So he made the jump to La Lumiere High School in Indiana for a year, and then obviously COVID. Then came back and went to Germany, played for Orange Academy, which is like the academy setup of Ratio Farm Ulm, a German BBL club. So that was a really good situation for him to continue to grow. Played in Pro B in Germany, and also played in the ANGT tournament as well, the EuroLeague tournament. So again, just putting him on a bit of a platform where he could garner some serious college interest. Like I said, I think he had probably 35 Division 1 schools that were kind of showing him heavy interest and extending a number of offers.
He got good stats playing in Europe.
Yes, yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he played really well. I think showed like another layer to his game. Maybe I think maybe at high school, not that he wasn't used properly, but just don't think maybe the role was there on his team, because he also had, like, Jaden Ivey played on his high school team.
Oh, really?
He plays for Detroit Pistons, yeah.
Oh.
Another guy called Wendell Carter Jr., who is, I think he's
Orlando
at Auburn.
Magic.
Yeah, he's at Auburn. Like, yeah, they've got some serious pedigree, if that makes sense. So, like, it wasn't necessarily anyone's fault. I don't think he was able to showcase all kind of, like, areas of his game. So I think, yeah, Germany allowed him to do that. Had a big impact at the level they played. And then, yeah, Baylor was the preferred choice. I think the Baylor coaching staff were just first class at building a relationship with him. They reached out to me and Matt. They really did their due diligence of just building solid relationships with Jeremy and his network. And yeah, Baylor was the school.
They will actually go that far then. They're going back to, under 16s and going, right. That's research, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
that's doing your homework on the player, isn't it?
I guess the recruiting budgets that they have. So like John Jacobs, who was the lead assistant, who recruited Jeremy, he went to watch him at the European Championships when he played for Poland. Like that's out in in Montenegro. So like, there's no expense spared on going to watch these guys and get a real feel for them. So they don't leave any stones unturned when it comes to recruitment, really getting to know each player's kind of support network, the relationships they have with whether it's previous coaches or existing coaches. They were first class with that, I have to say. And even to this day, like, Jacobs is someone that that I now have a relationship with, which is great. He's really high character people that were putting together the situation for him at Baylor.
I wonder how that dynamics changed with NIL deals.
It's a minefield.
because the institutions were getting the money, now the players are direct, and that relationship's different, and it has an impact on their coaching teams
Absolutely.
and everything. And so I wonder
so
how
state
that's...
to state it's different. I know that much. So we went to visit Baylor last year, and we spoke to some of the coaches there, and they said in Texas they're not able to go out and like essentially find the funds, if that makes sense. Whereas in other states, so like Nick Saban at Alabama, for instance, Alabama is different. In Alabama, they're able to go out and find these pots of funding, shall we say, from these companies that want to be involved with the programs, and then they're able to use kind of whatever sums they have to help them recruit more kind of pro team in Europe or whatever. It's gone, in my opinion, gone too far the other way, and I think there's either going to be a big lawsuit coming or some different rules or like a salary cap or something that comes in play to try and get a hold of it, because I think that the rich have certainly gotten richer.
Well, the universities are losing money as well.
Yes.
And universities out there are billion-dollar enterprises.
Absolutely.
And they absolutely churn money through sports deals.
Yeah.
So they will have lost a chunk from that, and they won't like that very much.
No, you're right. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. I don't know what it would have looked like. I mean, NIL was a thing when he was there, and I know he was able to take advantage of that, but not in the way that some of the college kids are now. It's gone to another level over the last 2 seasons, that's for sure.
So he was at college for
1 year. Just 1 year. I mean, that's what, I said before, we never had any inkling that it would be a one and done. I mean, at the start of that college year, this points to, and even when he went to high school, this points to, you see like the term like 4-star recruit, or he's a 5-star recruit, or that stuff is, in my opinion, nonsense. Jeremy was a nothing star recruit when he was whatever age, and then he was a 4-star recruit when he got to high school. Again, what that meant, we just didn't know, like based off of what. And then he moved, they played like 3 games, and then he moved from rank 67 in his class to like 41 in his class. And we were like, who's doing this stuff? Like, he couldn't make it up. Then he got offered by, I think it was Creighton offered him quite early, and I think maybe Virginia offered, and Florida State offered. And then all of a sudden, because of the snowball effect, he just bumped his way up. Like, it was like, oh, these colleges are offering him, so he must be quite good. Like, that was all we could work out from it. Like, during his time that was when he was in Germany, sorry. So yeah, he kind of came into Baylor as like a 4-star recruit. That's what they were terming him. But again, what that meant in real money, I couldn't tell you. And then it was the same at the start of the like on the mock drafts. He wasn't on any of them to start the year when he was in Baylor. So again, I'm not saying it's all rubbish, but the experts weren't experting when it come to Jeremy.
That's funny though, isn't it? Because they're all obviously following their own lead. Because it's like, hang on, why? There's like 5 people on this bandwagon here.
Yeah. They know something we don't.
Yeah, and it's like, is their scout better, or are they just at the right place, or why are they putting stock in that kind of player
Exactly.
that they wouldn't fit their profile, and yet why were they going for him? Wow.
And look, we're approaching draft day, so that's got to be obviously clearly special for the player, but that's also got to be special for the family and the coaches who help contribute. And you were there.
Yeah, obviously super unique and special opportunity for me and Matt to go along and be part of that. Didn't know until kind of quite close to the draft window whether or not he would be invited, because only a certain amount of them get invited to the green room. You can't just turn up. I mean, you could turn up and sit in the crowd if you wanted to, but not everybody gets a table. So he was invited, and once he was invited, he just extended an invite to us and said, I'd love to have you guys out at the draft with me.
Just what I say, a step back on that. He's done a year, and then is it a case of, we're going to go in the draft, or is there what is that little bit? Because I don't know that bit.
So I think,
do you get approached to go to the draft?
Yeah, I think so what you can do, you as a college student, like a student athlete, you can send a letter to the NBA and say, I'm thinking about going in the draft. Can you essentially send me information on where you think I might fall? And they write back to you. Projected 1st round pick, projected 2nd round pick. Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing at the time. So that happens, and then you can kind of go based off of that. And then what you can do now, they obviously changed it a few years back. You can enter the draft, but keep your college eligibility. And then there's a cutoff date. So you can enter the draft, you can start having conversations with teams. You can start getting, like, essentially putting the feelers out. You can loosely have an agreement with an agent. You can't formally sign anything, because as soon as you do that, obviously you lose your amateur status. That might have also changed now, because I know that student athletes have got NIL.
That's what I mean, because that whole thing
NIL
changes,
agents, if you like.
Yes.
So people that are managing that for them as well. So I actually don't know what the landscape looks like on that now, specifically. But I know at the time it was a case of fielding conversations with different agents. So I know Jeremy's stepdad was part of that process, just really kind of vetting different agencies and just trying to get a feel for who might be the best fit. And then, yeah, it's a case of, so a lot of the NBA GMs are allowed to go, and the NBA scouts are allowed to go and watch college practices. There's a certain time they're allowed to go in and see those things, and they'll be at a lot of the college games as well. And they'll usually have pre-existing or decent relationships with the coaching staffs at college, or, you know, individual members of the coaching staff. So a lot of them were feeding back, like Phoenix really liked him early on, and a few other teams had mentioned that they'd been to see him, watch him play. I think they're not allowed to do anything formal, like can't take him for dinner or anything like that, you know, that stage. But I think, yeah, they're able to kind of come to the gym and have kind of like ad hoc conversations with them, nothing that's formal. So I think that started happening kind of in the second half of the season in conference play. And that's really where he started playing his best basketball as well. So I think that was when the buzz started to build a little bit. People realized that there was guys that were starting to put some stock into him and really take note. And I think his key trait is just his versatility. Like, the NBA is very switchable now. It's very kind of the modern four is what I would say Jeremy is highly sought after. A guy that's 6'8", 6'9", that can switch 1 through 5, can play multiple positions. So I think that was where it really started to notice, because he played a number of positions at Baylor, played the 5, played a small ball 5, played stretch 4, a 3. Like, you know, he showed he could do a lot of those things and be versatile. And I think that's where the buzz started to build, really. So yeah, it's kind of like rumblings, I suppose. And then it's also, once you kind of instruct an agent, then it's the agent's job, I suppose, to really get on the ground and start having those serious conversations about, like, okay, my guy's serious now about being in the draft. Like, where do we go from here, I suppose? Yeah.
Because then I guess that at some point there's like, these teams want to see you.
Yeah. So I think you need to leave. I'm not sure if you're allowed to start visiting teams until you've formally left your name in, or whether you can start taking workouts and then you can decide to say, actually, no, I'm going to go back to college because I've gone to 3 workouts and it's maybe not gone very well, or, you know, they don't see me being drafted. I can't remember which way around that plays out.
Yeah.
But essentially, you're right. Yeah, you start taking workouts with teams. They invite you to their facility. I think they usually have meetings. They might take you for dinner, kind of one-to-one setting, and then you do like a group workout off. And usually, I think they usually bring you in groups of like 6. Sometimes play 3v3. Sometimes they want to see you in individual settings. Yeah, so it kind of goes from there, I guess.
But he'd had 3 sessions, hadn't he?
So he'd been to the Spurs. I want to say he went to OKC and then maybe the Cavs. I might have got that wrong. And then, yeah, he went was supposed to go to Indiana, and the flight got rerouted, and someone was unwell on the plane, so it didn't end up going to work out with them. And then he went to Portland, tweaked his hamstring, and again, just maybe a little bit of an old school process for the draft of just trying to bring in guys in and really putting them through their paces. I just don't know how much extra you can see in those windows than you've maybe not already seen to give you a feel for who they are. Like, I get it, you want to meet them in person and get a feel for their maturity, and I understand all those things. Of course, you know, you're about to make a huge investment in maybe a franchise player, or, you know, someone who you want to be a big part of your franchise. So I get those things, and ultimately, what do I know? I'm not an NBA GM, but him tweaking his hamstring probably attests to the fact that it was a bit of a grueling process of, you know, like a 10-day period where you're just flying around America, working out for different teams in different settings, some more intense than others. So it was, shut that down after he tweaked his hamstring. I think was due to go to New Orleans as well, but didn't take that visit. And
are they open about that? Like, will the player say, look, I've just pulled my hamstring for the Pelicans? Like,
yeah, so his agent got straight on the phone and just said, look, we'll still come and visit. You know, you can still sit down, but I won't be able to work out. It's not a long-term injury, but I have just tweaked my hamstring in a workout, so I'm not going to be on the floor now. They were pretty we're pretty transparent about that. Because I think then it's up to the team to say, yeah, we'd still like you to come and sit with us. And essentially, I suppose really they're like job interviews, aren't they? When you think about it, it's that is the method. Maybe it's not as, maybe it's not as formal as a job interview, but really they're getting to know the player to see if they could fit their franchise.
And I guess at Indiana in particular, obviously he was at college in around that area.
Yeah, high school. High school, sorry.
So,
Baylor's in Texas, but
so,
yeah.
But
high school.
Yeah, so
alumni,
high school,
you're
sorry.
right.
So they would have heard the rumbling at
100%.
that point. Yeah,
100% they would have, yeah.
And they're quite a big sporting sort of state.
Yeah.
And they're very passionate.
Absolutely,
So
passionate about the basketball.
that would have definitely sort of done the
rounds, you're right, yeah.
And then, so we're getting close to draft day. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's special for Jeremy, but you're in that environment. It's got to be, a pinch myself moment.
Yeah,
as
really
well.
cool to be part of the bubble in that week. Obviously, like I say, really unique experience for Matt and I to go out there with the family and be a part of what was going on. But just to get an insight during the week of kind of like where he might land up, which teams might be interested, just being privy to some of the phone calls that his agent's having. Like, I remember we were sat in a bar and he's like, the Kings are ringing me, or like the GM of the Pacers is calling.
It's so cool, isn't it?
We're just there, like sat, we're eating some food, and we're like, okay, wonder when he's going to come back. And then he comes. What news will he have when he comes back? Is a team trading? Is a team moving? They want to take him, and you don't get any like absolutes. But I think the Spurs had said, that, if he's still there at 9, then he's our guy. So kind of had an idea or an inkling that he would go in the top 10. And again, it's funny, like even some of the mock drafts weren't even showing him in the top 10. And it was making me laugh because it was like everybody's putting these things on socials and everybody's kind of paying attention to the experts that I think one of them had him at 17 and one of them had him at 12 and one of them had him at 14. And then it's like, actually, we're now privy to some of the information that's kind of coming through from the agent. And we're thinking, oh, little do you guys know, like he's almost had a promise that he's going inside the top 10 here. So yeah, that made me laugh just to see, like some of the outward noise that you see kind of on social media and kind of these specialists that are putting together their rankings versus actually what's going on behind the scenes. That was a nice eye opener. That was pretty cool.
And it's all still live, isn't it? So when it gets down to that day, and it's like back then, obviously now they've just changed it to 2 days, but that was 1 day.
Yeah.
And when it's 1 day, you're there thinking anything can happen on that day.
But I guess if you're in that floor, you've got a table, like you said.
It's like a trading floor.
You're there, like you got, you're sitting there going, I've got a good chance, and my name's going to be.
Yeah, so I think if you get invited to the green room, it's very rare that a guy doesn't either go in the lottery or the first round. I don't know if there's been a time where that's happened where they've missed the first round as such. If you've been invited to something like that, but then the cool thing is that you don't see on the television broadcast is the cameras go to the table before the pick happens. So we're sat in the stands, obviously on the side, and the cameras go over.
See, everyone.
So the cameras are there, but what they do is they sort of fake you out. So they send they have 3 live cameras that go to the tables. So when it was the number 1 pick, it was obviously Banchero in that draft, and people were still a little bit unsure on draft day whether they were going to take Banchero or Jabari Smith Jr. So they were like,
I say go both tables.
Yeah, so they went both, and I think maybe even Chet Holmgren as well. Actually, I think
he was up there.
Yeah,
Chet was up there.
They were top 3, so they kind of were at all 3 tables, and we were all kind of looking at each other like, "Where's he going to go? Where's he going to go?" And we'd heard from Jeremy's agent that Magic were taking Banchero. They were big on him, but again, like you say, it's live. You don't know what can happen, and they were there with the cameras, so we were like, "What's happening here?"
You're looking at like which one's got the red light on.
That's it. Like who's going to go?
I've never thought of it like that before.
Yeah, crazy.
Because it's always on them, isn't it? Straight away.
Yeah.
You forget that there's that 30-second pause. Someone's got to run to the table beforehand. You go,
yeah, it's a live broadcast, isn't it? Yeah.
So did a camera go to that table before?
So on pick 7, there was a camera at Jeremy's table, which was Indiana. And because they'd called earlier in the day and they'd expressed some interest but never said for sure if they were going to take him, we were looking at each other like we might be on here. We might be on.
Does he have any inkling at all? Until that name gets called, does he have any idea?
Yeah. So Indiana obviously didn't pick him. They picked Benedict Mathurin, and they were at his table as well. Pelicans had already told his agent at 8 they weren't going to take him because they had Brandon Ingram.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a position of need. They took Dyson Daniels in the end. They preferred him. we got a text a minute before the commissioner came out saying welcome to the Spurs from Jeremy's agent. He just forwarded the text on, so Jeremy knew about a minute 90 seconds before that the Spurs were going to take him. But that's how close cut it is, for sure.
That's amazing.
But it's like you get that text, you're going welcome Spurs, and then like you're going, and then bam, the camera's there and they're saying it. So it's still raw, isn't it? When it
Definitely.
when they say that.
But then it just doesn't end there as well, because we've all seen. I mean, I'm not allowed to say his name, but he got famously traded to Atlanta, and they had a switcheroo between the team in that country that county I can't mention, and Atlanta. They had a switcheroo, didn't they? And also Kobe, obviously.
Yep.
Kobe was what, 17, was he?
Yeah.
17. Well, I just want to go back one little step. So Silva is up there and he goes, and the San Antonio Spurs with the number 9th pick. And then his name gets called. I mean, is that goosebump moment?
Emotional. Yeah, it's emotional. We couldn't believe it. Like Jeremy's grandma was sat with us and his auntie as well. So like some of the family there too.
Amazing.
Obviously just raw emotions from them. Big hugs all round. His college coaches, everybody just like a kind of a overjoyed sort of 2 minutes of just wow, like this is really, really real now. And I was like probably one of the best basketball moments we've sort of been privy to sort of be part of someone's journey that's achieved something as big as that. Very special.
That's
very
the journey.
special.
You pick up a basketball, that's the journey.
You know what?
That it just is.
Yeah.
I don't know why this just popped in my head, but at that moment, it's like you enjoy that moment, but then all of a sudden it was like, right, now what? Now your work starts.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Again, you were talking about levels earlier. There's another level.
Oh, always.
Yeah.
You're right. You're 100% right.
It never stops, does it?
Yeah.
You see some of the rookies going in and you go, oh, you can see they're a rookie. Like, oh, they were great in high school. Good. They were fantastic in the college. Fantastic. They even played overseas for a couple of years. Fantastic. Now you're in the NBA.
Yeah.
Step up again. It's like another, isn't it?
I don't know if this is a silly question, but have you seen Jeremy play in an NBA game?
So we actually haven't. We took the Itchin Academy to San Antonio last Easter. So right at the very back end of his first season. Now, those of you that know a little bit about tanking, if I might say so, you'll know that they got to a point where they were hoping that they would get the number 1 pick, and everybody was vying for the Victor Wembanyama pick. So they shut most of the team down. So by the time we got out there for the last 2 games, we went to watch. We watched them play Dallas, and we watched them play Portland Trailblazers. We didn't. Not Dallas. Minnesota Timberwolves. So they played the last 2 games.
How dare you mix them up?
Sorry.
How dare you?
Mark,
Sorry.
you're poisoning Jack's mind.
Yeah, can't believe it. He's taken over. I mentioned the word. Yeah. We went to watch them play the last 2 regular season games. He's even got it on the cap now as well for the listeners. We went to watch the last 2 games and they'd shut him down by that point. So obviously a little bit of a tinge of disappointment, but still, like, we had an amazing trip. So we didn't get to see him play then, and then we weren't able to get out at any point this season. But Matt and I went to watch him play for Poland last week in the Olympic qualifying tournament.
Nice.
So we were out in Valencia for 3 days to watch him play, we were pretty excited because it's the first time we've seen him since he's been drafted. And he played really well. Had 16 and 10 and had 20 and 8 in the second game. So yeah, that was cool. That was cool to see him play.
One of the things I actually love about him is, my question is, at a young age, did he have the inspiration for Dennis Rodman that we see in the NBA? What was that an inspiration for him? Because like a lot of players will be like Kobe, Jordan, and stuff like that, but he's one of probably the only NBA player that I can think of who's like, no, I love Dennis Rodman. Like,
you know what? I actually don't think so. No, I don't think any. I think those comparisons only started when he got drafted by the Spurs. I think people saw kind of the game, the style of play, the fancy haircuts. I think that's when those comparisons started. I think if you watch Jeremy play, you'll see there's some crossover. He does some similar things. He's a great rebounder. He's a lot of like what you call defensive intangibles. He's got a really good feel for the game defensively. But I would say no, probably not. And I think even if you ask him now, like, you know, he'll laugh and joke about the comparisons, but I don't think he necessarily would draw those comparisons himself. I think the guys that he, I guess he's kind of a newer generation, but like guys like Kevin Durant were in the NBA finals when he was growing up. Like his family are from Oklahoma as well. So yeah, that was kind of his first, like OKC, like Russ Westbrook, the James Harden era, the Kevin Durant era. That was probably his. When we first met him, they were his guys as such. So yeah, obviously for him to have the chance to then play against these guys now and guard them and match up with them is obviously
it's mind blowing,
special,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you know, you were sat on the bench, you know, part of the coaching staff for a game that he was taking over.
That was Anthony Edwards, wasn't it, in the playoffs when he was playing against KD. And he's like, actually, I want to play against KD.
Yeah.
And when he got in the game with him, he's like, absolutely mouthing off to him.
I love you, but I want to beat you.
But it was brilliant. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's that full circle moment, isn't it? There's my idol, and now I'm going to play with him.
Yes.
Okay, I want to say two-part question on it. So, as a coach, what's your view on tanking?
To be honest, tough one because it's such a unique set of circumstances, isn't it? Like it doesn't really exist in any other realm of basketball other than the NBA, does it? So
No.
I suppose it's hard to think with my coaching hat on because it's hard to say. I don't think anyone's deliberately losing the game, but it's almost like shaping the roster to. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
And then even when some teams do, it doesn't guarantee that they're going to get the actual pick spot now.
No, you're right. No, exactly.
Like Atlanta got it this year, and it's like, where did they come from?
No, and that's it. Like the percentage chance you get, there's no guarantees you're right. So, yeah, I think I would find that pretty tricky. I can't.
As
lie.
a coach,
yeah,
you must be mentally.
I don't know how I'd be able to coach games like that.
And how do you think someone then, like having Wemby now on the Spurs, how do you think, knowing Jeremy and his game, how do you think someone like Wemby will impact the game?
Well, I mean, he's a unicorn. He really is. Like, I don't think we've ever seen anything like it. I certainly don't remember anybody even close to it. I think there's obviously been loads of different comparisons, and I think that showed this year in the Spurs' play. I think they were really figuring out how best to use him early on, not rightly or wrongly. I just think even someone as, you know, one of the greatest coaches of all time, and Greg Popovich, I think even though him and his coaching staff were figuring out,
I don't know what to do with him.
Yeah, like just how best can we put him in positions to be successful that not only complement him and his skill set, but the team as well, and how do we kind of combine that with the talent that we have around him. I think there's been a real kind of learning curve process for him this year. Obviously, the different experiments of guys in different roles. I think that's shown itself this year. I think the back end of the season, we probably saw some of the more positives, maybe the better versions of that, like read its head. They had some really good performances probably the last 10, 12 games of the season.
Yeah.
So hopefully with the moves they've made in the off-season, some more decent young guys in, they haven't kind of blown the budget on free agency.
Because when you have an all-rounder like Jeremy, and like you say, he can play through the numbers. Wemby's another all-rounder.
Yeah.
But when you've got those sort of players on your team, what does success look like for a team and a coach? Because you're going to say, well, I want you doing more offensive work today. Actually, no, but I need you to do defensive work. But actually, you both can do it. But then what does success for the team look like?
I think Jack's already answered that question where he said about having a plan of what do I want to achieve, not just in today's session, but what do I want to achieve over the next 6 weeks or the next 2 years.
Yeah. But if you've got someone who's so all round, how do you do that?
That's that young team, isn't it? And
yeah.
Where are they going to be in a couple of years?
Yeah, I think it is obviously a long game for them. I think the expectation naturally grew this season just because you plug someone like Wemby into a team and you automatically think, bloody hell, we should be better. We should win some more games. I guess the end goal for them, or the next step for them, is to probably become a playoff team. I think that would be the next obvious thing. Whether that happens this year or not, I'm not sure. But I can imagine that's the next step for, like you say, they're a young team. They've got tons of young, I don't want to say potential, but like tons of young guys. Obviously bringing in CP3 now and Harrison Barnes. They're two pickups. I think that they might not elevate them from a playing perspective, but one thing was for sure last year they had no veteran presence even just in the locker room, and you see it now. Like guys like Udonis Haslem that was with the Heat recently, till whenever. Well, I think there's a few guys that are bouncing around that are on rosters now still. They don't play. Like,
no, they wheel them out, don't they? Just to
DeAndre Jordan re-signed with the Nuggets. Like, they are locker room guys. You can tell that they're obviously extremely impactful on the overall culture and chemistry of the team and the organization, that they're worth their weight in gold. So they're able to use some of the salary cap to keep those guys around. So I'm not saying that CP3 and Harrison Barnes will be those guys. I'm sure they will still play and have an active role, but Lord knows they need some veteran presence in the locker room. Yeah, I think.
If we could be a time machine now, knowing what you know now with the teams in the NBA as they sit right now, would you have had Jeremy on a different team?
Good question. That's a hard one to answer, really.
Because obviously Spurs have been great with the organisation and all that, and it's not taking away anything from that. Just as if you're being a coach and knowing as you do and looking at the teams unobjectively, just saying, would he fit as a player in a different team? Yeah,
I'm sure he would.
I think he could fit in a few teams.
Exactly. That's what I mean. But would one suit his style more?
Yeah, that's a really good question. The short answer is I really don't know. I don't think I've watched enough of kind of individual teams to get a feel for what would be the best fit. So it would be hard to give an answer. I will say that I think the good thing about the Spurs is they've given him, like, they've got a real kind of long-term development plan with him. It's not, I know in kind of the NBA often a coaching change will happen and all of a sudden you just become collateral and then you're a trade piece, and I think Jeremy's really lucky that I don't think that's ever going to be the case. I can't see Pop being fired. He could go 0-82 and I'm sure he would still be the coach the following season. I think it would very much be on his terms. So that's why I think actually this is one of the best situations for Jeremy, because he's still a developing player. He's still really growing his offensive skill set, still really developing his jump shot, and I think his best basketball is definitely still ahead of him. So it's hard to say that if there would be a better fit, but I know the stars have aligned as such for him to be in a situation where there's no pressure for them to win right away, and he's able to have that license to really develop, experiment, make mistakes. That doesn't happen often in the NBA. So that's unique in itself. So I would say this is probably one of the better situations he could have wound up in. That's for sure.
Definitely.
Do you have plans to have a Jeremy jersey framed in your house, signed by him?
I've got one. I've got two.
I was just thinking.
I have a Baylor one.
I
don't want to flex, but I do have a Baylor one and a Spurs one. I actually haven't got them framed yet.
You got to.
I've got to get them up. Yeah, I've got to get them up on the wall. But I've got a Baylor, an alternate Baylor one and a Spurs one that's signed by him, and he's written some nice words on the numbers. One
that
for me and one for Matt. Yeah, it's pretty special.
Frame that.
We've got one at Itchen as well. He sent us one to put up at Itchen too. But the special thing about the ones Matt and I have got, they're game worn, so that means a little bit more. Yeah.
What's the actual difference, like, in that jersey? Is it like
stinks of sweat? No, I'm just kidding. No, it doesn't really. So I don't really know, to be honest. I don't really wear NBA jerseys now. It feels, they all like the spray on, like, tight fits. So it's definitely like that. It's like a stretch fit material. I think they call them vapor knit. I think that's the Nike term for it. I mean, it's obviously all kind of like everything's like hand sewn on. You can tell the difference between that, like a printed jersey as such.
That is amazing.
It's pretty cool, yeah. Authentic.
Not many people can say I've got a player worn NBA jersey
signed.
Got
to add that, yeah.
Look, Jack, you gotta promise us you're gonna frame that.
Yeah, I will.
Get it up.
No, I will, and I'll definitely take a picture. Proud as anything with that. That's for sure. He's actually coming to work with us for 3 weeks from next week, so pretty lucky. Matt and I will host him for 3 weeks. He's been back in the UK. Obviously, just finished his time with Poland, the national team.
Yeah.
So it'll be the first time we had to really spend some time with him to really help him out with his off-season stuff and see if we can build a little bit of confidence before he goes back to training camp with the Spurs. So yeah, that's going to be a unique opportunity to spend a little bit of time with him that we haven't had since he's been drafted.
Amazing. That is amazing.
What are you doing for next week? Just hanging out with an NBA player?
Yeah, I when you put it like that, obviously, but I guess for us, like we just, it's nice to be able to spend some time with him. Like I think it's testament to the relationship that we continue to have with him. It's not like it's not transactional. It's very kind of like, you know, that we've got a real nice relationship with the family, and they just, you know, they asked. It was funny that they asked us nicely, kind of politely, if we'd be interested in helping him out with some off-season work. Like, would we be available? Like, would we be available? Of course, we've got some time to spend with him. So yeah, it's exciting. We're really looking forward to it. Just to have him in with us for a few weeks, it'll be nice.
Just, you mentioned that where obviously he's played for Poland. Could he have played for GB?
Yeah.
I know, obviously through heritage he's played through Poland, and obviously there's totally respect why he's done that. But he could have gone for GB as well, couldn't he?
So in short, he has American and Polish passport.
Yep.
Birth father American, mum Polish, and then had stay of residency in the UK, so he's eligible for a British passport. Lived here since he was 3 until he was 15, 16. Went to all the England stuff, under 14s, under 15s. Also did Poland as well because he was eligible for both. And when he was at Itchen, so before he came to Itchen, he actually played for Poland at the European Championships as an under 15, a year young. But they didn't have a great experience for whatever reason, whether they had better players in his position, I don't know. But yeah, the coach kind of didn't use him to the best of his sort of strengths. And he was the young guy, so I get it. When he came back, he was kind of like, I'm not sure if I should play for Poland again or whether I should get my passport and play for GB. So he was really considering it. The coach at the time, James Veer, was really supportive. Is the head of Barking Abbey Academy now. Was really supportive. Like, I'd reached out to Matt and I had good conversations, spoke to Jeremy, but kind of never went past that. I think the federation said that they were going to help, and nothing came of it. All the while, the Polish national team at U16 level were flying him out to their camps and sending him to here, there, and everywhere. So the Polish national team were really like forthcoming in having him back, and that's really what made the decision, to be honest. So he just ended up. We said, look, it's your choice. You should make the choice for yourself. But right now, by the time. So he had spoken to GB at the start of the season, and by the time that there'd been any contact again, back end of kind of the regular season, when GB kind of decided that they were going to meet up, he had been to 3 Polish camps. So it was a no-brainer. Like, he'd been out to play against Greece, Lithuania, and dominated and played really well against them. And so we said, look, you should stick with Poland because it's a surefire thing that you're going to go there. They obviously see a big role for you. You know, you're going to have a chance to maybe win the tournament with them. And GB haven't even had a camp yet, so, and you haven't got your passport yet, so, you know, it was a no-brainer from there, really.
But especially as well, if you can, I want to say, be recognised for your talent and go and do something active there and then.
Yeah,
it's always that. Would you rather be the person who's sitting there waiting on a maybe, or would you rather just get on and do something? You know, we've talked with players who've said, I went somewhere else because I got minutes.
Yeah.
Rather than just sitting on a bench of, oh, I'm in this division, I'll actually drop a division, but I'll go there and play.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm ultimately here for.
And the Polish setup was definitely better than the GB setup at the time. There's no secret about that. You know, I won't offend anyone by saying that. That's a fact. So, yeah, we definitely said to him, look, this seems like a much more legit situation for you to be with the Polish team. You've already played with them for a year. And like you say, there's no guarantees with the GB setup. So go that way. And that was pretty much all she wrote. And then he made his debut for the senior team when he was 18. So... and pretty much won them the game against Romania. So, yeah, I mean...
very cool to play for your country.
Good idea. Yeah, good idea to stick with Poland, I think.
And you know what? As far as the actual Solent Kestrels organisation, it's just amazing to have someone like Jeremy come through the programme and then up in the NBA. I'm just going to say a but. The only way it could get better, imagine in his career if he gets an NBA championship.
Oh, man.
You guys could then say... you know, we're part of the journey of an NBA champion.
Let's see that ring.
That'd be
Show
amazing,
me the ring.
wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this past week they had the opportunity to qualify for the Olympics. That would have also been pretty special to say we have an Olympian as well. You know,
Yeah.
I know that would have meant a lot to him if they could have got it done. They obviously fell short last week. Doesn't help when you're in a group with Spain and the Bahamas. But
and also when you talk about the Olympics and again, I was trying to educate someone last night, funnily about this, it's just like when you're talking about the Olympics, getting out of European qualifying groups is bloody hard.
Brutal.
It's, you know, you just go through the list of teams. Like, I think we worked it out one. It was like the top 14 teams in the top 20 in the world are from Europe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And in, I think, what is it, in the Olympics?
12.
And 5 are from Europe. Is that right?
Yep.
Serbia, France, Spain,
Germany.
Greece, Germany. That might be it. It could have been Latvia and someone else, but they lost in Italy, or Lithuania, sorry, but they lost. Puerto Rico won that one.
You have Slovenia, Serbia.
Slovenia didn't qualify.
No.
So the 4 teams that won, so Spain won last week at their pool, Puerto Rico won their pool, Brazil won the Latvia pool, and Greece won the one in Greece.
Yes.
So yeah, that was last week. But you're right, yeah. It's only 5 at the 12 are European, and then you've got South Sudan, Japan, Australia.
And the other thing as well is, but you know, we've talked to players who comes round to the players all know each other.
Yeah.
And there's a synchronicity to, oh, that's the Italian team. Well, they all play in the Italian league together. They all know each other. There's the Spanish team. I love it. Oh, you might have, there's Gasol and there's a couple of Ricky Rubio. Okay, fine. There's 1 or 2 who are out that loop. But when they come back to the national team, they fit straight in.
Yeah.
And you go, we haven't had that in the UK for quite a long time.
No, you're right. You're right.
And I mean, we've talked about fragmented UK basketball as it is, and it goes all through the levels. Yeah. It's in through the leagues, through all the challenges of everything else, and yeah. So I think you know you've said it when you're talking about being a head coach, and it rolls from the top and rolls down. It's the same in the organisations, isn't it?
Yeah, especially for the national teams, and you can see they just have an identity. They have that on us for sure. They have a way of playing. So yeah, like you say, it's not easy to qualify for any of these major tournaments, whether it's Eurobasket, the World Cup, the Olympics. That's no mean feat. But back to your original point, yes, it would be very cool if we won an NBA championship. That would be icing on the cake of an NBA career, right? Yeah.
I mean, there's people who, you mentioned Chris Paul earlier, like they ain't winning anything anytime soon.
Yeah. I mean, that would be cool. I think just in the short term for him, just to continue to stay healthy and continue to improve, that would be great as well. You know,
that's probably the
to have
biggest
a
thing.
Good longevity with his career.
Staying healthy.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Probably the biggest thing, isn't it? Really, if you get there, it's staying consistent, but being healthy. I mean, it's
no mean feat at 82 bloody games. There's a lot of games to navigate your way through and stay healthy and keep yourself ready to get back on the floor every night. That's an impressive feat in itself.
And then if you make playoffs,
exactly that. Yeah, plus what is it?
21.
Yeah, you got to get 16 wins to win it, right? So, yeah.
And we've got to say that we know you're a Lakers fan as well, but if
said it that bit out.
If I knew an NBA player and he gave me a Spurs jersey or a Spurs jumper, I'd be wearing it as well.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'd be wearing it as well.
Yeah, I'm not turning down that. No way. No way.
No. I mean, is there anything to be happy about with the Lakers at the moment? Could you change allegiance?
No comment.
Whoa, this is interesting.
No comment. It's crazy, isn't it? The Lakers situation feels a little bit like a circus at the moment, like I said to you guys before. I feel like, for as long as we have a team the way it's constructed currently, it's going to be tricky to win.
It's for entertainment. It's not for winning. That's not what the team's built for. If
La La Land, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. If it was built for winning, they'd have sacked off a few. They wouldn't be getting in players who've
hard
got
to disagree.
Low scoring averages and chucking them in G leagues and stuff.
And look, just going back to the Kestrels now.
Yeah.
To round this all off, I think I'd be doing a disservice to the podcast, maybe journalism, if I don't ask this question, which is the actual court that the Kestrels play on. It's an absolute fantastic court.
Yeah.
We've definitely heard rumours about adding badminton lines or netball lines on it, which we're not fans of. But look, let's say it's a fantastic court. It's a great setup, but there's been changes over the years, and the development of the actual staff, and the mindset of that court seems to be changing. Where I know, like, you've got, I think it was netballs coming in and they use it an hour a week, but they're going to put lines on. I'll be honest, that beautiful court. It might be nicer if it was blue rather than red, but it's a beautiful court, and it's a purist court as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which don't exist in the south very much.
No,
and
no,
that's
you're right.
one. Like, you have to go a long way in the south to find a purist basketball
Yeah.
court. I don't think there are many, if any. There are
No, in this area,
I can't think how far north you'd need to travel. Yeah.
Exactly,
you see
'cause
that
I'm going-
Kestrels court, and you're like, nice.
You go down Worthing,
Nice.
Brighton Way, anywhere down. No, they're all multi-court.
What's your view on the court?
It's lovely. Yeah, agree with you. Obviously, it's been amazing having that. Pardon me. It's been amazing having that as our home court, our home facility, for, since it was built 5 or 6 years ago now. 6 years ago, I think it was. Yeah, obviously, lots of fond memories there of kind of our Division 1 runs, and lots of exciting games. Obviously, I'm saying that like we're about to leave it. We're not. But it's, obviously there's been a change. There's been a change at the university level, which is ultimately it's their facility. It's not ours. We are just a club that are based out of that facility and use it and hire it, as anyone else would. So obviously frustrating to hear that there might be some change there as well, kind of physically. Obviously, we know there's been some change with management and personnel and the focus, should I say, that the university has got on kind of their view on student sports. So obviously that has a bit of a trickle down impact onto what we do, and was a large part in our decision last year to opt out of being in Division 1. But yeah, I guess disappointing is probably the first one. Like you say, it is a special court. It does have a real sort of premium elite feel to it. The fact that it's a basketball only lines, and even our juniors get to play on it, which when you see kind of the other junior teams come in and they're almost in awe, they're wowed by how nice it is. Yeah, so I suppose the initial feeling is a little bit of disappointment. If there are going to be some changes on it, it's obviously what we're hearing. I don't know 100%, but I think that's the route that they're taking, is to put some more lines in it. I have heard it's just netball at the moment, so yeah, I don't know if that will be anything more.
If there are badminton lines going on, we're going outside, Mark. We're going to be doing some
marching in the street.
We're going to protest, Mark.
Why can't they get, with these courts, you see the basketball court where it's a mat that you can roll out?
Yeah.
Why can't they do that for a badminton court?
Yes, I was going to say, don't keep it the
Like,
basketball.
get 4 mats.
Yeah.
Why can't they do that? Because
you know what, I've never heard anyone suggest that, actually.
But why not? And it's the same.
Great shot.
Why not? Because if you can do that for the basketball court, it's like, well, the biggest court is the basketball court.
Yeah.
So that would be the most expensive. Why not
buy?
buy?
The example in the BBL is, I think, is Plymouth does it?
So
or
Plymouth Raiders
does
have
it?
have that rollout court, but there's someone
And
else.
Surrey as well. I
Yeah.
think might do it. They might roll
Sorry, roll
out.
out. Yeah, I've seen them set up. Yeah.
Look, the biggest
few
part
games.
of the court is that rollout. Why not have a smaller rollout for a badminton? Like,
Yeah. What I love about
surely-
the Kestrels court, though, as well, especially when you guys do the whole media day, where you get the cameras going and you get
the live stream's fantastic. The Sonar TV, the
Yep.
group that
Sonar TV.
it's
That's
the student-based group at the university, and that's
They
what I
do a
mean for
great job.
courses like that. They're second to none. They do an unbelievable
They
job.
do a great job, and you know what? It's bloody good value as well. Like, you're watching it and you're just like watching a professional game.
It's a multi-camera setup, isn't it? With some commentary and some different kind of features, some courtside bits, some coach interviews. Yeah, they've really pushed the bar, especially this past season. I think they've got this in studio thing over at one of the buildings, one of the lecture theatres at Solent, and they did a live broadcast from the studio. They had like a digital screen in the background.
Oh, nice.
I think it was our game against, I think maybe the men played Ipswich and the women's team played Loughborough. It was like a double header, and they were kept like switching back to the studio, back to the court. I mean, rivaling like BBL type broadcasting, to be honest with you.
You're right. It is as
Yeah,
well, because there are BBL teams that don't do it as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So when you look at the service that they're actually doing and what the entertainment package that they're providing for the Kestrels, it is probably top 10 in the country.
Yeah,
because
no,
our
it's really
BBL
good.
teams are not
Really
doing
good.
it.
And BBL teams that don't have a court like that as well. There's lots of, Cheshire play in a multi-sport facility.
Yeah, and they tape the lines.
Yeah.
So they get all the court coloured tape and they
Most
tape
of the
over,
time.
which is
Newcastle
unbelievable.
as well.
Yeah.
Well, Newcastle do that as well.
But they only they don't have as many lines, I don't think. But
No. But yeah, when we spoke to Paul Blake,
Yeah.
he was like, he
Yeah.
really wanted to tape the other way around so he didn't have to see.
So that all the wood looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
So that's the key. I mean, we're very
we'd want a stadium.
passionate. We're very passionate when it comes to purist basketball courts and trying to keep that. So especially for the Kestrels, that's one of the things that we've always looked at and gone, that feels like it's a fundamental foundation of the Solent Kestrels. And we don't want to see that change.
No.
We don't want to see that
It's
change.
I think it's been a separator for us as well. Like almost, I don't really know in what aspect, but like, something to almost
Inspiration.
shout about, to say, look, we get to play on this court. Like we have a partnership with the university. This is, one of the nicest courts or nicest facilities in the country. We're super lucky to have access to it.
This is professionals per sports.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's like this. It's a level of professionalism. You walk in, you go, oh, okay. Oh, but there's no. Oh, this is like a real basketball court. Not I'm at my local leisure centre.
Yeah, and I'm stepping out of bounds because I don't know what colour is what.
Don't.
Yeah.
So, like, the Kestrels are still going to be there for the foreseeable future. They're still going to be there. Potentially, we might have one volleyball line or something like that.
Yeah, some netball lines is what the rumblings are. One of the local netball teams who plays in the one below the Super League, I think, are talking about maybe using it as their home facility. So yeah, I don't know much more than that, to be honest with you. I've not been in any of the meetings. But yeah, we'll still play there. We'll still be our facility. We'll still use it as far as I'm aware. Junior and senior games. So we'll still be able to put on hopefully, a pretty solid game night and a game day experience that's still, much what it was like last season. And hopefully the one set of lines won't be too much of a downer.
Hopefully it'll
on the
be like
event.
Worcester.
Yeah, you're right. The picture you just got up before, that would be great because it's barely noticeable, to be fair.
I guess it depends on the colour, isn't it? Like if it's really subtle, and contrast.
Yeah, it's a good point actually. Yeah,
Ultimately, they want to be on there going, we're on a basketball court, and know that they're on a basketball court, but there's the lines they've put in for us, rather than it's a multi-sport court. It's like, no, this is still a basketball court.
And
there's some lines. You're welcome.
One of the things we've really tried to be advocates for on this podcast is to highlight that basketball is with the exception of football, so it's the second most played team sport in the UK. So when you get to talking about university level, it's like, okay, look, we know football's our national sport. This is the second most teams played sport. Like it makes sense to
and then it gets to
have that facility.
And under 18s and everything like that. And then it gets to what happens after under 18s and it just drops off a cliff. Suddenly everyone forgets it exists. And you're like, there are hundreds of clubs all around the country through Division 4 all the way up to Division 1. And then you obviously have this apparently a BBL, but not at the moment. But there's hundreds of clubs with thousands of people playing. Like 1.1 million people play a year or something crazy like that.
You're right. How that can't convert to...
People don't seem to know it exists.
Yeah. It's funny because we played... we did... This season we had a couple of junior games at Fleming Park. And it's not... We've obviously moved out of Fleming Park when...
That's the original. The original Solent Stars.
That's it, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cool.
And obviously it's it's Places Leisure now. And we were astonished by the amount of random people that came up to us and said, oh, we didn't know that there was a basketball team local that you could play and come, and you've got every age group. And
oh, really?
Just the random footfall that we got, even, it's not as far afield. It's literally as close as Eastleigh, that, people just weren't aware. So I guess the point I'm making is that even when we moved just for one game for a day worth of fixtures, because I think there was some exam desks in at Solent, we just had a number of extra people that had inquired about is there an under 10s team? Is there a session for under 12s? Is there girls basketball for this age?
Amazing.
Like, we just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So I guess the point I'm making is that, to your point, that people don't know it exists, and when they see it, they're almost stunned that there's organised basketball going on pretty much on their doorstep. So I think
the federations and powers that be at the top of the chain for basketball in the UK are not maybe doing enough for visibility.
That's a 6-hour podcast that we could go back and forth on, I think.
Not a fan of being there.
And just to highlight though about the Kestrels home court is you guys won best home game experience.
Yeah, both for men's and women's last year actually. Yeah. The women's, I think, is 3 in a row now. They've done that.
Oh, amazing.
And I think, the men obviously moving down to Division 2, I suppose it gives us a little bit of a head start because we've got a huge fan base from obviously everybody that follows us in Division 1, and then also having a big junior program kind of attached is also a massive benefit as well to make sure that there's a real atmosphere at the games. I think we've got a working group with some really good people that give a lot of time to try and make the game day experience, like, as I suppose interactive as possible, entertainment, feel to it, obviously with announcers, kind of things going on at halftime. The Solent Ravens from the university, the cheerleading team are kind of involved a little bit as well in that. Just some different things, like different games for the audience to get involved in. I think they've done a really good job this year to not just the live stream, but also kind of if you're there at the game as well, just that atmosphere that
The package.
Yeah, that's it, the package. So we're really lucky that, and this is a testament to the work that they put in each week, planning and tweaking it and making sure, do we need to make a change here? And what, has anybody got different ideas here? I don't necessarily work on those groups, but I've seen some of kind of the meetings and conversations they've had, and there's some really good people that have been involved. I know Jerry Merrill's done a lot of work with them. I'll do it to service. I don't want to leave anybody out, but I know he's been kind of really leading the charge with that. So big shout out to Jerry and the crew that have been pushing the bar with that, to make it as good as possible.
So, what's the future for the Solent Kestrels?
Good question. So this year we'll be back in Division 2 with the men. The women actually got relegated last year out of Division 1, so they'll be in Division 2. I think for them as well, it was a big adjustment. Obviously, with the university kind of pulling out last stage, it meant that some of their kind of scholarship athletes on the women's side decided to move on and find other situations. So it affected and impacted them as well.
Faye Dean went to London Lions.
Yeah, Faye
European champion now.
Unbelievable story for Faye. Faye, Erin and Anna, who were kind of our 3 really kind of like high-level standout itching girls that played on the Division 1 team, obviously all moved on. Anna went to a Division 2 school in Alaska on a scholarship. Erin went to Loughborough University, and then Faye obviously signed with the Lions. So they kind of all moved on to pastures green, and it left a bit of a void in the team. A young group at Itchin that obviously a wicked opportunity for them to step in and play Division 1 straight away and kind of really kind of I suppose blood them in straight away at a level that was maybe a little bit too much of a stretch for them, but they conducted themselves in a really commendable fashion. They really played hard. They ran some teams close. They really got better as the year went on, but ultimately didn't win enough games, and were just too young, to be honest. So I think for them, they've gone down to Division 2, but we're kind of hoping that we can still maintain a real game day atmosphere for them, and I think there'll still be some senior women as well involved in that group too. Men's and women's will be Division 2 next year. We'll bring back hopefully a core of the team from last year. As far as meetings we've had thus far to this point, we like the group that's coming back. Keep a lot of the key pieces from last year's group. Obviously some of the young boys will move on just because they're not itching no more. So Will Taylor and Asa Aziz, the two kind of key stand-up third-year guys we had at Itchin that were on the team. Will has a full scholarship, is going to Memphis, Division 2 school in Memphis. And Asa will go and play at an academy, actually Joel Freeland's academy, in Gran Canaria in Spain.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, they're moving on to new levels, which is great for them, and ultimately they're the real wins for us at Itchin. You know, if guys can use us as a stepping stone for 3 years and really develop their game and add value, the wins for us are, you know, what the exit routes for the guys, where do they get to such, and if that's great. So those guys will move on. That will mean some of the younger budding talent that were under 18 last year that are kind of stepping up will be able to join that roster and hopefully make an impact at Division 2, which will be great. Continue the pipeline as such. So yeah, we're hoping to be right back in the mix again. It'd be great if we could go one better and win it this year. That doesn't look like an immediate team like Milton Keynes, but you never know. I'm sure there'll be some teams that'll be right there in the mix as well that are vying for a promotion too and trying to win. Either teams that have come down that are trying to go back up, or teams that
you never know.
Teams that have reloaded.
Team. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, Division 2 is always competitive, and one thing you find with Division 2, and we had this a couple of years ago when our Itchin boys played in Division 2. It would be like maybe some of the guys wouldn't know who some of these guys playing Division 2 were, but you get ex-professionals, you get guys that are just maybe working a really nice full-time job in the city now in London and just want to keep playing on the weekends, and they can all really play some basketball and have all played at a decent level. So like you say, you just never know. You turn up to some of these Division 2 games and you're like, well, this team's pretty good. So yeah, hopefully we'll have some nice challenges ahead, some good battles with some decent teams in Division 2, and the better the standard, you know, the better the games are. So, you know, we want good teams in there. We don't want no teams that are not taking things seriously, and yeah, we want competitive games ultimately.
The future's bright for the Solent Kestrels.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, fingers crossed. And just also to touch, just from a junior perspective too, I think last sort of 2 years we've seen like a real kind of like a real new kind of I says like breath of fresh air back into the junior program. Been able to get some really good people involved on the junior level. Really rebuild each age group, and make sure that we're providing enough basketball across the whole club. We set up a Kestrel City League, which is essentially a CVL for just players within the club that maybe don't make a National League team. So there's kind of different levels now, kind of enter the club, if that makes sense. So it's not just about kind of the best players that play on the National League teams. We have under 12s, under 14s, and under 16s, where it's like our own central venue league where there's like 50, 60 kids that for a 6-week block will play kind of against each other in different teams. Each week there'll be a focus. So like the coaches for the first kind of like 15, 20 minutes will coach that skill or that kind of focus for the week, and then they'll play games against each other. We just figured that we would have kids come into the club and maybe do like a CVL type session or a skills type session to start, and then would never actually play any basketball, like an organised game as such, and then they might make the jump to a National League team, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, they've come from this level, haven't played any competitive or structured basketball, and now they're playing on a National League team. So we figured that actually, as an entry point, if we could get them playing more games much quicker and expose them just to kind of the feel of a game, and even things just like learning the rules and just how a flow of a game goes, and keeping the teams 4v4, 5v5, so it's, 4v4 cross court, so it's lots of touches for all of them and lots of space to play. We've kind of rebuilt that over the last 2 years, which has been really, really positive, just to be able to get a lot more people a lot more youngsters involved at an entry level, and then, you know, straight away that's a much bigger pool of talent as well that you have kind of within the club network to nurture and to hopefully move through the ranks and play National League at different levels. I think next year we're hoping to enter 2 teams at each age group. I mean, I know some clubs do that, but for us, we only feel like it's worth doing that at National League level if it's right, if you've got 2 teams that can really compete. So that's why we've got kind of different levels, where rather than just going, oh, we'll just put like 2 or 3 teams in and see if we can fill out a team, and if there's 3 teams at 16s, that would be great. But actually,
you need the coaching staff behind that as well.
Exactly that. And it can almost bring, if the kids have an early bad experience with the game because of something like that that's not really anyone's fault, then you run the risk of them not wanting to be involved in basketball anymore. So we're trying to, I think for us, if we can do a really good job on each level where we kind of realize that we're the gatekeepers of their experience, whether that's on an entry level at a skill session, whether that's a CVL type session, or whether that's a National League setup. We don't want to stretch ourselves too thin on every level. So yeah, trying to restructure over the last 2 years has been a big win for us, I think. from a junior perspective. We got, like I say, we've got some good people behind the scenes doing some unbelievable work on a volunteer basis, which, you know, like we talked about before, is they are the real lifeblood of the game. Not what you see on a game day necessarily. You know, not me or Matt shouting and screaming on the sidelines and taking the applause when we win, or the plaudits when we win a game. It's the people that are, you know, making those things happen, that are
absolutely
booking the minibuses, making sure that registrations are done, making sure we've got stuff organised.
The unsung heroes.
They are invaluable, and I can't say enough about, you know, how many good people we're lucky enough to have involved. So yeah, they really make it tick.
Go on, Mark, do it.
What?
You're number one.
Who is your clutch shot? It's the game winner. Game 7.
Actually,
Trophies on the
I'm
line.
going to write this down. I might be wrong. I'm not going to show him, but I'm going to write this down.
There's only one. Kobe Bean Bryant.
Here it is.
That's who I'm rolling with.
Your all-time starting. Oh yeah, he's got to have a coach. 6th man.
All right.
And then
Okay. Okay. So do we have to go positions, or can just be 5 guys that I
Whatever you
like?
want. You can do 5 guys that you like. I mean, if you're a coach, I would assume you'd be thinking how they play together. But you know, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. I
Look,
can't.
this is Jack. He
Yeah,
can do whatever he
Styler
wants.
plays too much, man. Styler plays too much at this point. All right, so we're putting Kobe in straight off the jump. We have to put Kobe. Michael.
MJ, most consistent player in 5 and Pine.
Yeah. They play together well, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Not interested in the synergy. I'm going to go Allen Iverson.
Ooh.
Wow. That's 3 guys who want the ball in their hand.
It is. It's a lot of points per game.
Depends on who the coach is, Mark. He can make them work.
Yeah.
Coach
You
can
gotta
make
be
them
careful
work
here.
together.
Let's put a big man in. I'm going to go...
I'll put my guess down on what he's going to say.
That's interesting.
Shaq.
Oh, 2 for 2.
Yeah, no, I nearly changed my mind, but we'll go Shaq. And then let's put a wild card in there. Someone I really like. Maybe not someone I would consider like the greatest of all time.
Not a Kareem then.
Let's go...
Oh, he's really, stretching him now.
This is tough because I also got to bring some off the bench, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mark, we need a jingle for this. 5 and Pine.
Yeah, you do.
Or something like that. We
Yeah.
need a jingle.
Might take the pressure off me as well. Might take the pressure off.
For the music, what we got to have is that Jeopardy music. You know, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
5 and Pine.
It's not making it any easier.
So far, you've got Kobe Bean, MJ, AI, and Shaq. You got 1 more starter and 1 on the bench, plus a coach.
I'm going to put a point guard in there who I really loved growing up, Chauncey Billups.
Oh.
Yeah, that's my wild card in there that maybe no one would have expected.
Who's on the bench? Who's coming off the bench? Who sat next to this coach saying, "Coach, put me in"?
So this needs to be someone who was a 6th man, or it can just
No,
be
whoever you want.
Whoever you want.
He put MJ on the bench.
I have MJ on the bench.
Wow. Because
because he'll be fuming.
Strategy.
yeah, Rage Monster.
When he
come in.
comes on,
yeah.
every
No,
player
I'll
is going to
take
be
it.
like,
Fair.
game over.
Fair. Okay, so we're going off the bench, which means we need instant, straight, in the game, impact. Let's go Tracy McGrady.
Nice.
T-Mac, that's a great call.
Let's go Tracy McGrady.
T-Mac's a great
You know,
call.
that's so weird. I was just thinking of Tracy McGrady.
Really?
I was thinking about his shoes.
Oh, he had some real Adidas.
Yes.
That's so weird.
Yeah, we'll go T-Mac. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, T-Mac's a good shout.
So who's gonna organise them?
Who's coaching
Who's
that?
gonna get them working together? Is it gonna be Matt Guyman?
No, sorry, Matt. It's not going to be you. It's going to be...
Would it be you?
It's not me. Oh, I can't manage that group. Let's go Pat Riley.
Big Pat.
Yeah.
He's lent on the Showtime
Pat
Pat.
Riley. That's some big. You said a lot of guys that want the ball, a lot of guys to manage, a lot of big egos. So I'm going Pat Riley.
Well, he's done that with what? Lakers, New York,
Heat.
Miami. He's had some big egos, hasn't he?
Kobe, MJ, AI. Let's just forget Shaq and Chauncey for a second. Who's inbounding the ball and who's bringing it up? Like, I don't even...
You don't need to worry about scoring with this team.
Don't come and watch any of our practices.
Yeah, that would be insanity.
All right, brilliant. Great team.
Yeah, that's
I'm going
fantastic.
with that. I don't know if it works. Probably not, but...
Two Orlando Magic players in there.
Do you know what's quite funny is, we were saying earlier about, when you think of things as a coach and you lay in bed afterwards thinking about it.
Yeah.
He's going to be laying at that tonight now.
And I'm going to think of fresh six.
How is that going to play together?
Yeah.
Who would
I'm
I
going to think
have?
about trades. You know what? Actually, I want to trade.
You'd be having MJ as a power forward kind of role at that point. Because you'd have to be.
I don't think we've ever shared this, but after we finished recording the podcast, it's actually quite regularly, me and Mark get messages from our... the people come on the show and just write, can I trade?
Really?
Is there? Yeah. And some
It's
people
like,
no. Can I change my list? It's like, no,
like that.
this is like a Jeopardy. Like, the answer's the answer. That's it. In this case, you literally pick the answer.
Yeah, lock it in then. That's it.
We haven't done this in a long time.
Haven't done it in a long time.
Can you take a live shot?
Yeah.
On the thing. This is the first Solent Kestrel.
Yeah. What am I shooting on?
Actually, no, it's not first Solent Kestrel because Steve Davison's done it.
Yeah.
Mark Jackson, you could probably argue he's done it because Solent Stars maybe. Did
Riabi do one?
Riabi's done it.
Did Riabi do one?
Yeah.
That's an ex-Kestrel right there.
He's done it both times. He's come on the show.
Lovely.
So you take a shot.
Okay.
And don't worry, most people miss.
All right.
I think only 3 people have actually scored, and it is a hard shot. It is that baseline shot from the left-hand side. So here we go. Wow. Jack O'Keeffe, assistant head coach of the Solent Kestrels men's team.
Checks the ball. I'm just pointing that out.
Yeah, you got to make sure it's right. So it's this baseline shot from the left. Here's the first shot.
Just one.
No, you get 3.
I get 3.
Yeah. Here's the first shot. Wide. Here's the second shot. Closer. He's getting closer. This is the last shot. Oh. Denied.
That's all right. That's going to haunt him tonight. 100%. He's going to be thinking, he's going to get some.
Most people do miss those shots. I think we've only had 3 people. We had
3 people.
Jason Colgan. He hit one.
Number 1.
He hit his first shot. Mark Jackson.
Number 2.
Hit his second shot. And Steve Ware hit the third one.
That's it. But yeah, they are not easy. That depth is a weird. The angle is horrible. Everything about that is just
disappointed with myself. Poor performance.
What's quite nice is that the first time we did that, he was walking out the door and he threw the ball. And I was like, that was a lucky shot. Do it again. And he literally was by the door and just turned around and threw it and it went in again.
Oh man.
He hasn't done that since.
No.
He choked.
I had an amazing last question for Jack.
Yeah.
Oh, I've forgotten it.
Oh man, welcome to my world.
Oh man, that's why I got this. I write so much stuff during it because I forget it. It was a great question, but we don't.
It was a great question. Yeah. It was the greatest question you'll ever hear.
You know what?
That no one will ever know.
I'll get home or I'll be driving and think, damn, that's the question. Yeah. But yeah, look, Jack, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been an absolute honor having you on. You know, Mark and I have been keeping our eye on the Kestrels throughout the season. And like I said right at the start, we are always looking at those guys and we hope you do well. We do, well, probably add to that, we hope you don't do too well in the second Mickey Byrne Annual Cup, but
yeah,
I'm sure you will. This is being played at the Kestrels. I think it's September.
Yeah, first
6th
weekend
or
in
9th.
September. Yeah, it is. Is it 6th or the 7th? That first weekend.
It's around there, isn't it?
Yeah. Let me double check.
Tell you.
It's the 7th, Saturday the 7th September. At the sports complex. Yeah, I think it's probably a 6 o'clock tip, 6:30, something like that.
So if anyone's free on September the 7th,
Yeah.
you have got the Solent Kestrels taking on the Portsmouth Force.
Second instalment.
The second annual rerun for the Mickey Byrne Cup.
Like a South Coast derby, isn't it? It's fantastic.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah. But
no, it's great. It was, and just to add on that, last year, like when we come down to you guys, it was like really impressive. Like, love the setup. Like I said to before, like I think for as long as we can continue to push the bar in the whole region, it's great for basketball in the region. It's not just great for one club or one organisation. It's
100%.
It's great to have everybody doing things, the right way. And I think you know, down here in Portsmouth, it's certainly trending in the right direction. So yeah, we were. We were really impressed when we came down. The game day experience was second to none. It was. I'll be honest, it was better than most Division 2 games we went to last year. I promise you that it was. So yeah, big shout out to you guys.
I appreciate that.
Big
That's
shout out to you guys for doing it.
But
doing
we'll
it
be
well.
coming to the game.
Oh,
We'll
yeah.
be coming to the game.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if we're going to do anything special. If we're going to
No
record
idea.
anything.
Nothing live.
Possibly. I know we've been thinking about it. I know there's rumours circulating about doing some commentary as well.
Yeah.
Oh no, is that?
We get lots of people saying try commentary,
Yeah.
and it's like okay, but we've never really done it before, so we thought, well, screw it, let's give it a try.
The
Yeah,
tall
what could-
man
what could
has
go
the
wrong?
ball.
Go wrong.
What can
I
go
think,
wrong?
look, Mark, we've
That's like
talked
literally
enough.
my strap line.
We
Yeah.
talk enough BS. It'll be easy.
Oh yeah, I can do that bit.
We're on
Add some
the
flavour to the game.
sunny
for the-
south coast with the
Yep.
Solent Kestrels taking on the Portsmouth Force.
Yeah,
That's
see, colour commentary, I could do that all day long.
Yeah.
No worries. with all
Easy.
that.
That's it.
It's
You're
the-
leading the charge.
It's the play-by-play when it's that person, and
Yeah.
I'm historically just terrible with names. I don't know what it is. Something about names and me just do not meet very well. And in my previous life in work, it was like I just couldn't do names. I'm terrible at remembering them. I'd write them down on bits of paper when I'd have meetings,
Yeah.
and put
But
little
you
bits
just-
of paper
you
out
just
like that.
know them. You just sit and go, look, Mark, you might have a moment where you say something like, Ash Briggs, out to Elliot Dads for the win.
I could explain
It's good!
complex thermodynamics, no problem at all.
You might
but I
have
will
that
forget
moment,
names.
Mark.
Yeah.
It's just weird. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it though. It should be a good game.
yeah, it's great having all that stuff down.
So if anyone wants to go down there, we'll be down there doing something. At the very least, we'll be watching. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be good laugh, that.
No, I appreciate you guys having me on. Honestly, it's been great. What a better way to spend an evening chopping up, talking hoops with you guys. I really appreciate it.
No, we appreciate you coming down, man. And so ends another episode of Talk Basketball
Great
Podcast.
episode.
Great episode. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on, sir. And I'm sure it's not the last time we'll have you on. That's for certain.
You didn't say I've been marked. That's where you usually
Well,
finish.
I normally do, but I didn't know if you were going to say anything else.
Okay, thanks, Jack. We've been talking to Jack O'Keeffe, absolute Solent Kestrel legend. Some of the stories he's been telling us today were absolutely brilliant. So thank you so much for coming down. Good night.
Good night.